Hi guys, I'm Rick Heaton. I'm the community manager for the Lord of the Rings Online. Today we're going to sit down with senior producer Aaron Campbell, and he's going to give us a first look at mounted combat for Riders of Rohan. We're going to answer some of the questions you guys have been asking, like how is a minstrel going to heal from horseback? How do captains figure in? What does a guardian do while he's mounted? We're going to get him to answer some of those questions, and maybe if we ask real nice, he's even going to give us a little look at some of the classes riding across plains of Rohan on horseback. And you know what? He sits right over there. So let's just go see him. Hey, Aaron, I got some questions from the community for you. I was wondering if you could take a minute and answer them.
Absolutely, Rick. No problem.
All right. So a lot of players want to know, if you play something like a minstrel or a guardian, how does that translate to horseback? I mean, hunter's kind of obvious. You're shooting stuff from horseback. But what about the more kind of support and tanking classes?
Okay, well, I play a guardian, so that's a personal interest for me. As you're out on horseback, right, this is a very mobile thing. So you're moving across a broad stretch of landscape, but you're still playing your class. We want you to have the essentials of your class. So, for example, the Guardian has tanking skills, they have aggro skills, and you're going to be able to do fun things like, for example, pick a mob out and tell them, hey, you, over here, right? It's a taunt type of ability, but because it's mobile, you're forcing them to ride alongside you, so you can bring them in and control the battlefield.
So if that hunter steals hate, I can pull it back still on my mount?
Most of the time. It depends on the hunter.
Guilty.
Okay, yeah.
What about a minstrel? What's it like to heal on horseback?
Sure. So you've still got to be aware of your group. You've got to be aware of the range you're dealing with. But a lot of your abilities are going to be more area, right? We want to make this a little more forgiving. We want to be sure that you can maintain your group, your fellowship, really, while you're playing. But it's so fast, you're not going to be able to keep everybody in line all the time, right? So focus on the tank. Use some of these area abilities. You still have your cries. You still have some of these baseline abilities you know as your class, and you still play in that role.
I see you've got a captain loaded up on the screen.
Sure.
So what's that like? As a very different kind of healing support sort of class,
right.
What's it like to play a captain?
Well, I think one thing that's interesting about what direction we've taken this, we've given each player 3 stances they can learn, or 3 directions they can take their gameplay while they're out there. So you can do a much more aggressive role. We call that Red Dawn. You can take on a much more utility and control role. We call that Riddermark. And then you've got your defensive role, which is Rohirrim, and that'll focus on your healing abilities or survivability. So as a captain, for example, I can actually adjust my existing skills by choosing my stance. So what I've got right now, for example, is Riddermark. It's going to give me more defense capability, a little more utility, self-healing. If I went Red Dawn, I'm going all out DPS.
Cool. Can maybe we
take a look at this?
Take
Sure.
a little look. Don't tell anybody.
Okay. Well, this is actually basically our playtest for developers, right? We run through this twice a week. As you can see, I'm actually playing basically with one hand. And I'm out in the Norcross, the plains of Rohan. So I've got my heal on. I've got a debuff from that goblin shaman over there. I'm going to set up a charge attack, knock him down, dismounted him, and killed him off.
Nice. That was pretty quick. So mounted combat is actually pretty fast combat.
It's very fast combat. It's fast both in terms of the speed at which you're going and really how your skills work and how you're doing damage to your opponents. Now, across the hill here somewhere, we actually have some roving packs of wargs. And these are more on the warband style. These are a bit more challenging. You have to watch what you're doing.
So we actually have, kind of like when you're out in the moors, like the whole warg pack comes and pounces you. We have those in the landscape now. We have a whole pack of wargs that are going to take us on.
Well, one thing that I found challenging actually is I'll be sitting, waiting for something to come up, and a rook will just come up and ambush me, right? We have these wandering elites. We want to maintain that challenge level. This is elder game. So you've got to be on your toes. You got to know where you are. And besides, you're going really fast enough that if you're not paying attention, you're just kind of traveling along. I'm over the Norcross right now. I'll find myself in the eaves of Fangorn before I even know it.
Wow.
And I can change level bands there pretty quickly, so I might be hitting some level 80s.
So you really have to pay attention to what you're doing and where you are. It's almost kind of like a situational awareness when you're mounted.
Very much, yeah.
This looks really great. You're going to invite me to the next playtest, right?
Come on, you're already invited. You know that.
Well, Aaron, I really appreciate it, and I'm sure all our players appreciate it, and it's looking really great, and I can't wait until the next play test. All right, guys, so there you have it, kind of a sneak peek, a first look of mounted combat and some of what you can expect with Riders of Rohan. Hopefully we've answered a few of your questions. I know certainly some of mine were answered, and I hope you join us next time. We'll take a look at some different systems that are coming up with the Rohan expansion, and keep asking questions. We'll see if we can't get them answered here through this medium. All right, so you guys have a great week. We'll see you next time.